going on, guys? It is your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Thank you once again for tuning in for the best podcast this side of the TCG land. On today's session, we will be going over a couple different things, and we'll also be joined by a special guest who's kind of hanging out in the back. We'll be going over Alliance Insight and what it introduces into the format after the sneak peeks that we had going on over the weekend. What decks we might be seeing at YCS Rhode Island, which is also coming up this weekend as well. And what you might need if you yourself plan on expecting to go to a YCS or any sort of tier 2 or higher event for Yu-Gi-Oh! This upcoming year. Before we get into all that, let's go into these sponsored plugins, guys. You already know we got to get all that jib jab out the way. As usual, please go to our Linktree link down below in our description box. You can go there, click on it, follow all the sites that are down there. Our Twitter, our IG, Discord server, YouTube, whatever it is, the Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Go down there and go interact with all of our stuff. When we get certain accolades, like 100 followers on X or 200 on IG and Discord, we're going to start doing way more giveaways. We'll probably do one when we get back from YCS as well, because we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways at the YCS itself as well. Shout out to Unplugged Gaming. As you guys already know, the sponsors of the podcast. They want us to let us know that you guys are going to join their Discord server down in the description box below as well to join their TCG communities, whether it's One Piece, Lorcana is getting big over there. Digimon still is up and rampant. Pokemon, doesn't matter what it is, you got cardboard. They want you to be a part of the community. So go down there and join their Discord server as well. And this episode of the podcast is also brought to you by our sponsors over at Energy Drink City, because stopping a local on 3 hours of sleep and a granola bar just ain't going to cut it these days, you know? So you can use the promo code PLAYERX to get 10% off your purchase at energydrinkcity.com. So once again, www.energydrinkcity.com to get your favorite boost of liquid energy delivered right to your front door. Or you can build your own personal energy drink crate, and then just like you build your own side deck, put all gas and no brakes. You know, so once again, Player X for 10% off at energydrinkcity.com. And also be sure to catch Brad, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch will also be in that Linktree link down below. You can click on it and catch him. He'll be doing a lot of play testing, especially with YCS coming up. A lot of EDO, a lot of DB. He tends to stay off the Master Duels around this time, but a lot of grinding nonetheless. So we'll be not catching us this Saturday because we'll be at the YCS, but next Saturday coming up, he will be definitely doing something as well. But now that we got all that out the way, let's introduce our special guest for tonight, all the way over from our brother-sister podcast over in New York City, Heart of the Podcast. He is a returning guest on here who is also going to the YCS that is coming up this weekend, so we want to dig his mind apart. Give it up to none other than your boy, Joseph.
Thank you, X. Like X said, I'm from Heart of the Podcast, sister podcast. We haven't been as active, but that's here and there.
But
We'll
they're
get
still
back
there.
into it, of course, 100%. Give it a shout out to the whole crew at Heart of the Podcast, and yeah, my name Joseph. I'm your local champion, X2 drop gang.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. Some people would say that arguably, what, King of Cuse or whatever the hell you guys are arguing over
The
now
king
between
of
the two.
Qs, undisputed.
All the way down in New York City.
That's right.
But with that all out the way now, we can dig on into today's episode, starting with Sneak Peek Weekend and our introduction to the next core set, Alliance Insight. With the set officially being legal Friday, May 2nd, we had all of our chances to go get a sneak peek into the future and see how things are going to be formed when these new cards are being imported as of this week. I ran Unplugged Gaming sneak peek over the weekend. We had a decent turnout of people just basically clamoring just try to get the new Malice cards and the new Agnesir cards for their Malice decks. But our top 8 consisted of 1 Lab, 1 Mitsurugi Pure, 1 White Forest, 1 Fiendsmith Rizio, 2 Blue Eyes, and 2 Malice players. With actually, lo and behold, the White Forest player taking it all away at the end. So a big thank you to everyone who came out, all the dudes who either wanted to get cards or wanted to enter the raffle, wanted to play, doesn't matter what it is. We appreciate you guys for coming out, making the event so great. And congratulations again to Austin Despa for going all the way and taking it home that victory mat. It was actually a really cool mat too. It was a nice little cream colored, very light background, poppy kind of mat. Actually, I won one. I think I might have one. Give me a second.
Oh, break it out.
I'd say it's a nice mat. I'm not gonna lie. It's got the yeah, it's definitely a nice mat.
Yo,
You know your boy had to get one too.
yo, where'd you get that?
From Sneak Peek, you should go to yours. But it's a very, very nice match. She took that home, but she was also proved that Malice and Ryzo weren't the only decks that were being boosted by this set. So did you go and participate at any sneak peeks over the weekend, Joe, yourself?
So no, I unfortunately didn't have the time to go and participate, but I've as you mentioned, we're also going to Rhode Island in
Mm-hmm.
order to prepare for the new event. I think it was integral for me to go, but alas, I didn't get to go, and so I just been grinding online. Like you said, this new set is not just only boosting Malice and Ryzeal, but it's boosting many other decks. White Forest, like you said, another that was another contender that I had that I was gonna be playing. When is this releasing? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna be I'm playing Malice, and I'm very excited for it. But yeah, like the level, the ceiling, it's gonna be great for many
Yeah,
decks.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Because speaking of sleeper decks, it looks like there's a lot of other decks that are viable right out the gate this weekend coming out. As much as we know, I mean, we all know that the top three decks are going to be like we all know Ryzer is going to be there. We all know Fiendsmith. We all know Malice. But I would consider you folly to say that you shouldn't be aware of other threats in the room. You know,
Hmm.
there are decks
Right.
like we were just talking about Live Twin, which can now be played pure with the Link One or with the Sprite or Fiendsmith engines because Sprites also require level twos, and that new Link One is a light Fiend monster because why the fuck not? You know, decks like Eldritch get their boost with their new fusion and continuous trap. Even other decks like Cyber Dragon receive two new main deck monsters that help with their fusion strategy. Pirelli gets a new common monster that helps facilitate some extensions. Helps gets to those XYZ cats. I can't remember the name of it. There's like a new light fiend vanilla dilly or something like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is used for Primate Ubel, which I thought was kind of a cool like little thing going on. And even the new Red Genesis archetype is being blended with decks like Vanquish Soul and even Kashira, just to utilizing the attributes and the levels respectively. Vanquish Soul needs like darks and fires and stuff like that and waters to go through and kind of access multiple cards, and then cashiers need
Mhm.
the sevens on the field to help rank into other like rank seven toolboxes. So it's definitely good control and resource management engine that's just kind of waiting for like the proper home for it. Have you gone against any of these decks play testing for the weekend of the YCS?
I've play tested against every single one of the mixes in between Fiendsmith and Fiendsmith Flanders. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. I've already like the ones that I haven't seen as much, which I'm not too worried about because I'm not playing Ryzo, but is the bikers like the
Oh,
Goblin
Goblin
decks
Bikers, yeah,
or
Memento.
yeah stuff added to that. I feel like I have a decent matchup, but decks like those, like if Ryzo is still popular by then, which I feel like it's still gonna be, right? You're playing
Yeah.
Ryzo, so there's a reason to it. The Mermail Atlantean, I myself was playing that. That's still very strong. Crystron, I haven't really played against it, but I've heard that it's really, really good. But pretty much everything else in the room has a chance. And King Kabui has been doing really good with Fire King.
Yes, he
And
has.
like, it's like, dude, but then again, it is King Kabui, but it just means a good player can make a good deck, and there's a lot of good decks in the room, like you said. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, as far as like decks that are prevalent for Rhode Island, I mean,
Hmm.
I know I'm focused on the Mitsurugi and the Malice portion because like those are where I'm like the weakest. I mean, but
Hmm.
even besides that, we got like the Fiendsmith piles, Malice Madness, we got Ryziel crisscrossing everywhere, but we
Odeon
still have sleep.
Tombkeepers.
Yeah, I mean, there's too
Okay.
many. There's a lot. There's a lot. They're all and the representation, the numbers are going to be high. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, you've got sleeper decks like Ubel, Fiendsmith doing well. Memento Goblin Bikers just won the last YCS. Mermail Atlantean is creating waves with the fucking rip your hand
Unchained
and the
just got
Unchained.
better.
Yep, Unchained just got boosted. Christian is still present. Dragon Rulers just got a whole bunch of new cards. I don't know how good they'll be, but they just got boosted up. White
Yeah.
Forest Azamina was still represented last format. I think might get a little bit stronger now with some of the new cards.
Truth be
Um,
told, I don't know 100% about Regenesis.
I think
That's
Regenesis will
awesome
be
too.
good. I think it'll be at least represented. I think people will be taking it into the room
Right,
because it's just another deck where it's just like grind. It's like a negate, a follow up, and a bounce.
right.
Sorry, a Book of Moon, all every turn. So they keep adding themselves back. So it's kind of good.
Hmm.
Like I said, Mitsurugi pure or mixed with Ryziel, I think is going to be good. Odeon or like the team Tomb Keeper deck that some people either with pure or the new Eldritch cards because Eldritch gets some support as well. And then like you said, even Fire King are still turning up. Like if with
Yeah.
in the battle
I mean,
phase, like the interception is crazy.
the name of the game right now, it's about whoever can outgrind each other. And
Mm.
that's what I'm really liking about the new meta decks. Like they have follow up and they have a lot of interaction. It's not just Omni negate. It's layered interactions. So even though with all these new decks in the level of the ceiling, we still get to play. It's not
Yeah,
just floodgate and then that's it. With the rank 4
Abyss Dweller.
Abyss Dweller in Shifter to 1. So that makes the game a lot more fun for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it also stopped a lot of the gatekeeping for decks like Mitsurugi or something like that, or Yubel, who just hard lose to one dweller.
Right. Yeah.
Not to mention you
It's
put a
not fun.
detonator on top of that. Yeah, so exactly. It kind of encourages some sort of like grind or some sort of interaction between the two decks, which I'm completely in agreement for anyway. I think that there should be more interacting and less like just hard negates. Oh, I've lost. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Type deals.
Right.
Personally, I mean, are there anything that you're necessarily afraid to go see or you haven't had practice against? Or like, I'm not really. Ooh, I don't want to see that deck.
I think the mirror can be a little daunting. It's a lot of thinking and trying to stay ahead of your opponent. It's not that I don't want to see it. It's that after 2 days of playing, I think maybe that'll
Oh,
be
you're gonna
quite
see it. You're gonna see it.
Yeah,
You're gonna
especially
see it.
myself, yeah. But aside from that, just the Odeon. I'm just not a big fan of how you can't really interact with trap monsters all too much. So we'll see. But I think Lightning Storm hits him even though after they get
Yep.
they're still considered traps. So I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
are considered traps. I mean, it depends on when you're using the lightning storm. They have a on-field negate by.
Do you think we're gonna see any heraldic beasts? I mean, I heard some talk. People were like, "Hey, rank 4."
I decks like that you can maybe take to a regional and do well. Maybe even go to locals where like there's not a lot of like competitive decks being built or competitive deck builds. So
Hmm.
where like these players at the YCSs are gonna open hand traps. You are,
Right,
you better believe that you better be expecting at least 1 to 3 interruptions coming from your opponent every single turn,
100%,
regardless of what.
100%.
And so decks like that, they don't play well through disruption. They just play well into open board, simplified game state, and you're not always gonna have that, in my opinion.
See,
So
here's a question. Actually, it's this is completely out of your questions,
mhm.
but and this is something I've been struggling myself with. Wallows or Droll in the main.
I got them both.
Okay, I feel like you can't have both though.
There are times where well, I'm the type to shotgun Fualos. I'm shotgunning Fualos and draw phase regardless. If I have two, I'll shotgun one and then wait for the second if you actually really commit. But
Hmm.
the whole point is I want your turn to skip. I don't want you to put a board up of any kind. I want you to just pass your
Right,
turn. So I'm just gonna shotgun that shit. If
but
for
I feel like
some reason after I shotgun Fualos, the very first thing you do is search, I might just droll you. Just to guarantee that you're you're just again not playing. I want you to pass right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I have like at full combo or like engine pieces in my hand behind it.
but if
But
you draw yourself.
I'm fine with that. There's times where if I get full almost and
Uh,
I maybe started with like an ice and they ice it and I'll just special the body. I'll go chain link one,
hmm,
uh, extra sword, see what they got. If they have any interruption, if they don't, I'll just droll right there. Chain link two droll, kill my
hmm.
own X search just to make sure that they're not gonna go plus, and then I'll go Fiendsmith Engine or something like that. Just end on something smaller. But like I definitely am making sure that if I don't have Ash, I have Droll. You are not
See,
gonna resolve yourself against that.
I have to take a pick between the two because unlike you, I have a hand trap that I can use that's very impactful in the meta that not a lot of decks can use, which
Mm-hmm.
is Impulse.
I think
So,
for you, you might you might want Fui in the main and then Drolls in the side when you know it's going to
That
be the matchup. It's going to smack. But
that's where I have it right now. That's where
yeah,
I'm currently having it. The only reason is that, Flawless gets ashed quite a lot, and
it
then
does.
that's it. That's kind of the end of it. And
Ash
then you just
cross out, call by.
hand trap for hand trap at this point. Um, but yeah, no, I think that's also going to be another thing. Impulse is going to be a very impactful card in this meta, and then it's going to be in everybody's deck that can run it. It hits pretty much every matchup. With Ryzeal being a little weaker now, more representation from the other decks. Impulse just hits really hard
Yeah,
on
no,
other
I like
decks. Yeah,
Impulse. It's a well designed card that is strong, but has also strong drawbacks to it that allow it to be as strong as it is. So
agreed.
no,
Yeah,
I agree, 100%.
yeah.
I'm really ready for this YCS though. I mean, I think that it's going to be really like good. We have a lot of people from Q's going up there. We're doing a lot the last little like solidifications on like rides and what we're going to be eating and stuff up there. Do you guys know who for a fact is going on your end?
It's just gonna be myself. Kevin is also gonna be heading out. Another person outside of the heart of the podcast, but still in the play group. So it's just gonna be me. Um, in terms of
Putting the city on my back.
yeah, pretty much. I'm putting Q's and New York City.
Yeah, right.
uh, and I love that everybody or anybody from Q's watching this and be like, who the heck is this guy?
There, none of them are gonna know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, just the one time I went to the Q's locals, I ended up scrubbing out so hard. But everybody was really nice, so I love my Q's experience.
Well, I mean, true. Like they are a bunch of good souls. A lot of them are donations, but
Yeah, yeah.
but there are going to be a lot of good choices this weekend as well. I mean, like with the right gameplay and the right meta calls, like any deck could go against the heavy hitters that we're all expecting to like do well. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
I think
yeah.
honestly, it's going to be a very excited weekend. Personally, I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what deck is left still standing after all the dust settles. Like, I think that not that I want Malice to be the best deck of the format, but I just don't want it to be. So I want something else to win, just to be like, all right, cool, it's doable. Like Malice doesn't have to be the best deck, but I don't want to
So
get
here's
shoehorned
here's
like
my
a tier one,
theory.
like a double
Here's
tier.
my theory. I think Malice is the best deck in the format. Like like no ifs and or buts. I think what we're gonna see in this regional is not really gonna be conclusive to that because we're like 2 days, 3 days before the release of it, and then people are gonna be still scrambling to get those cards, and they're
Oh,
still a
true.
little pricey. So that's also gonna be affecting a lot of that. Like I myself, it was pricey to get those cards, and it's like last minute. So I can't see a lot of people just having that spare and just throwing it into it. So I think that's something to consider as well. So maybe not this one, but the next one I can see Mal is like full blown out.
Yeah, I think that it'll come down to who's been playtesting with it and practicing beforehand. Because if you have been, it's going to show, and if you haven't been,
Mm,
and you're just throwing them in there thinking that you can just add these cards to your deck and you'll be fine, you're going to
yeah.
come to find out that it's not.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. But how many of your boys are going then? The whole crew.
we have a lot going. We have Ryan Gentili and Ryan App
Mm,
and Matt Pelletier and Devon. Ryan App and Matt Pelletier are all sponsored podcast duelists. They're going in
mm-hmm,
one car. I'm going with Mr. Perfect and
mm-hmm,
Joey Walters. And
mm-hmm,
Maddie's going to be probably driving with us. Then we have Ian, Daryl Rupert, and Billy Kronk and Jake Curtis riding with Ian. They're all coming up. I know you remember Jake,
of course.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
troll. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone remembers him.
Yeah.
The most loud,
Oh, so
obnoxious of all of us.
you guys are squatted up. That's good.
Yep.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be a very good time. Like I'm very glad to see
So
that we're having a lot of people, and a lot of us are going to be in an Airbnb. Some of us are going to be in hotels. Like I know Dylan is another like young guy in our locals. Is another kid whose dad and like family like is completely really cool with allowing him to invest so much time and stuff into Yu-Gi-Oh to where his dad
I
is
love that.
bringing him out. Yeah, exactly. So he's going to
That's
be getting a
adorable.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. We're gonna have a lot of Q's people in the room for sure.
Hmm. All right. Right on. Right on. And I mean, how long have you been playtesting the new meta? Like,
Oh, I've been playtesting for Lots, 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 lots. I would say I solidified that I was playing Fiendsmith Risial 2 weeks ago. I've been playing this
Mm-hmm.
specific deck list since. The only thing I'm
Mm-hmm.
testing is the side deck. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm testing that, was it Gordion Slicer or whatever hell it is? I'm just trying
That
to.
yeah, Guardian Sister.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm just trying to test that, see if that's even worth putting in the side deck, or if it's just going to be one of those cards that just kind of misses the. I really don't think that I'm going to be including anything from Alliance Insight into my deck. I think I just had it ready to go. I know
With
exactly what
with
one's gonna be going with. So
Guardian Slicer, I think that's a definitely a must-have in your binder at some point. But I don't know if this is the right meta for it, or if any of the decks currently using it are like for it. I could see Vanquish Soul once it comes out, since it doesn't use its extra deck very much. But Guardian
mm-hmm.
Slicer is definitely a card to keep an eye on. But how would you say in terms of practicing? How long do you think it should take to get ready? When did you were like, I'm gonna start grinding now for the event?
I think you should have at least 4 weeks practice.
Or,
You should know your
or
deck list at least 2 weeks before. You should solidify your deck list. You should be the last
Mhm.
2 weeks before an event. You should be playing like it's already the event,
Yes,
knowing what proxies
know
you
your hand
got.
traps.
Yeah, know your hand trap, knowing your lines, knowing if you see one card in your hand, what that whole line plays out to. You should be knowing all that at
Right.
least 2 weeks before.
Hmm.
Obviously, it takes you another 2 weeks before that to play through a whole bunch of decks, find a deck you like, find your sleeper picks, find the good tech cards, something that's gonna like actually be consistent. And then once you solidify it, you've gone through all like the testing. You're like, all right, I've kind of narrowed it down to like this deck and this deck. It's time to
Hmm.
solidify on one, and then just kind of like go to town. I don't like doing the whole changing your deck a couple days before the event type deal. No, if I solidified on something, I thought about it for weeks, and not no new information 2 days before an event is gonna make me change my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know about the five P's?
Of I mean,
That
I be
just
pushing
the
P's.
no, no, no. Well, the five P's, and this is what I like to do it within my work. It's proper planning prevents
Poor.
poor performance.
There you go. That's what it is.
So there you go. So the five P's, just remember that. No
I only
last
got
minute
two P's.
changes.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. Like that's definitely what you need. I mean, even like I guess kind of brings us, I guess, into our last talking segment of the night is like what you people need to do before going to a
Mhm.
YCS. I mean, everyone
Planning.
sees these
Five P's.
YCSs that are going on, and they'll tune in online and they start seeing what's going on, and they're not understanding what went into going to do like get to those spots. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a
Right.
very important thing that you'll need for the weekend that you're gonna have to have is once again number one your deck. You have to make sure you know what you're going to play at least 4 weeks before the events start, and that gives you enough time to not only deck build optimally, but practice enough builds and actually go up against some of your local community and online to start getting cards IRL as well. So like once you start knowing, all right, I like this card, I like this tech, you can start
Mhm.
being, all right, who's got this around locally? Maybe start shopping around for it early, because most people you got to remember that it takes up to 14 days for you to receive cards from online sellers, and that's after you've purchased them. So whether it be from TCG Player, online at a Facebook group, Etsy, it doesn't, or Instagram, doesn't matter. They have up to 14 days to ship it to you. So that doesn't mean that they're as soon as you give them the money, they're scrambling around, writing out letters and throwing things in the mail. No, no, they have a
Right.
process. It may get to you when it gets to you. There's the post office might have some difficulty with their carriers or something like that. You never know what's going to happen. So I always suggest 4 weeks before the event, know what you're going to have an idea of what you're going to start playing. 2 weeks before the event, you should be solidified and getting the cards in your hands, playing with them as much as possible. Even going to like your local game store, seeing if they sell singles or have other cards or people in the area trade or swap cards with you, but get them in hand as soon as possible is what my number one thing would be.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And then once you have your deck like planned out and you're ready and you have an idea of what you're playing, the second thing is you're gonna need all your accessories. And I don't mean like your accessories like your merchandise or like your jewelry and stuff like that. No, 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 no. I mean these things come with Yu-Gi-Oh, but are sometimes an afterthought or not something that you think of off the rip, such like sleeves, for your main deck and your extra deck, and that's not including if you're using inners or outers. So whatever you're going to use, deck boxes. Well, recommend having your deck in one specific deck box with no other cards inside of them. So don't have like one of those multi deck boxes where there's three decks in there and then you're flopping out picking one of them. You
You
will
keep your
get
sleeves
yeah,
uniformed.
yeah, all of them. Don't do using old sleeves from old boxes and trying to match them up to the
Yep.
right light. No, just get a fresh box, get a fresh deck box, all that stuff,
Yeah, last thing
and
you
just
need is
start off.
like you practice all this much and somebody your opponent calls you out and like, yo, your sleeve don't match.
Your
You
marked
get a
cards,
round
yeah,
loss. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You don't want
It's
that. You
happened. It's
practice all
happened.
this.
Even off fresh, freshly opened sleeves.
It
It
can
just
happen.
happens.
Yeah.
And that's not including like play mats, mat tubes, and bags. And I'm talking about play mats because you have to have like an. I'm not saying you have to have an authentic like Konami play mat, but you can't have those lewd, inappropriate ass play mats where like there's some big titty goth girl or dark magician's got her fucking cunt out and shit like that. Yeah, that's a good one. That's if it has the official Yu-Gi-Oh logo on it, it's usually good. But
You know
even
where I
still,
got
some
this?
of them are kind of bad. I wonder who he got that from.
I
Probably
wanted
someone who
to.
went to Nats that year,
Probably
I
somebody that did.
guess. But yeah, Matt tubes. You're gonna need a cell phone charger, especially if you're playing off Neuron all day, because your phone's gonna be drained. Or if you're doing online pairings, you're gonna be on your phone going back and forth. You're gonna want to make sure you bring a charger for that. Or if you don't want to go through any of that BS, which I highly suggest you don't, you just bring a pencil and paper, and you just record things physically. Keep your phone in your pocket, at low battery mode. Save as much battery as you can, because it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long weekend. You have to keep in mind that you're going to be playing for basically 2 days straight,
Yeah.
and you want everything else to be accounted for. And that's not including all the backpack to hold everything in. You know what I'm saying? All that
Now,
stuff.
a couple of things to also keep in mind. Like I said, you're gonna be playing a lot nonstop for 2 days. Hydration is king. And get some snacks. You might not have some time in between rounds to get some food. Sometimes the food that you get in there is junk food. That'll slow you down a little bit. I mean, just like any sport, you gotta stay on top of the game. And if
Mm-hmm.
you eat good, drink plenty of water, you're gonna stay sharp. If you eat junk food, you're gonna feel like junk. So that's also important to have. And sleep before the night before. So
Yes,
just
sleep is very,
yeah,
very big. I'm very,
yeah.
very big on sleep, like to the point where I'm in bed by 10 o'clock at the latest the night before.
Mhm.
Especially if
Mhm.
I gotta get up early. If you're talking about day two, I am in bed almost an hour after I get back to the hotel from the event center, because you're up there even earlier. You got to be there. So there's a
You
lot
guys
of
are
things to keep account for.
sharing space, right?
Yeah, we have an
Hotel,
Airbnb. There's gonna be like
Airbnb.
6 rooms. Yep, but there's gonna be
Yeah.
like eight
So
of us in there, something like that.
that's a typical experience when you go to these events. You share Airbnb or hotel
Or
with your
hotel
friends
room.
and
Yep,
hang out.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I might, I mean, if you guys allow me to crash, I'll come crash just for like a couple hours and then I'll
Yeah,
head on
you're
my
more than welcome
back
to
on
come
my
over
way.
and hang out with us as long as you want. Yep.
Yeah, I this time it happens to be in one of my home turf, so I'm gonna be staying at my family's place. So, but
Mm,
typically, it's usually a cost that comes with it that I get to skip this time.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now that we got our deck list, now that we got all of our things together, we're ready to go. Almost like we're going to a locals. You got to figure out how you're going to get there. Most
Mm.
YCSs and other tier two or higher events like regionals and other like Nats, OTS championships, things like that, all take place in bigger cities. Ones with convention centers or playing centers that can hold upwards of like 2,000 plus players. Because you not only people that are in there for the main event, there are people for side events, there are vendors, there are judges, there are people who are just there to play, there are people who are just there to trade, there are parents, there are guardians. There's a lot of people in that building, so you have to know that there's going to be a lot of them in that, and that means that they're not always. If you're not always within range, you're more than likely going to have to travel to those places. Now, those options include like popular ones like driving yourself or maybe flying or something like that if it's really crazy far. But there are other options too that are more like budget friendly, like doing trades or bus rides, or you can even do carpools with other local players that might be going. I'd suggest that that's always the best way to do it. But either way, you're gonna have to make sure you include travel in your budget in some way, shape, or form. You don't just
And the
magically get there.
earlier, the better.
Yeah,
Earlier, the better.
book ahead of
I
time.
um I personally am doing from New York to Rhode Island on a bus, $70.
Hmm.
140 round back. Not too bad.
Especially for a 3 day event. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Exactly.
good budgeting right there. Anything under $200, I think, is solid, especially if you're including your
100%.
your round back as well. But like,
Hmm.
if you're driving, make sure that you drive with a bunch of buddies or whatever it is. But you definitely want to make sure that you know how you're getting there as soon as possible, as he said. Make all the accommodations. Don't be the guy who the week of you're trying to hit all your buddies and see if you can snag a last ride or something like that. Account for it, be accountable, make sure that you get these plans done because you're gonna want to not miss out on these things. So be sure to like take that extra step to make sure that they're getting good. And then speaking of
Hmm.
budget, you're also going to want to include housing in your game plan as well. Whether that be at a hotel for the weekend, like how we were saying, how we can go get an Airbnb with some friends and just split it up. Or even possibly like how Joe is. You just got family in the area or nearby, maybe some friends who you want to
Friends.
catch up with and maybe crash out at, just so that way you can help save some funds where you can. Like, those are perfectly acceptable. Don't let anyone talk you down on whatever option you got to do. If you are not into having a lot of people around you, like being in an Airbnb, then go do a hotel room by yourself. If you don't have the money for a hotel room, then you got to go sling it with some buddies or maybe some family member or something like that you haven't talked to. Hey, you got to suck it up and go do what you got to do. But make sure that you have a place that you're going to put your head at, even if it's in a car or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you got some place to rest your head at night because the
And
events go all day, and when the night comes, you're gonna want to rest somewhere.
one thing I want to add, and this is a little outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, but we're all going there to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but we're also taking a travel to a place that we haven't been to. So I think it's also fair to like maybe take a look into where you're going, plan out a little bit, something to eat, some a new place. You're going to a new
Mm-hmm.
place. You're discovering a new place. So, go out, have fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a couple days of Yu-Gi-Oh, and let's say you don't make it to day two. You have a new area that you get to go and hang out with after you go at a win. What is it, giant card or decide events,
Yeah,
whatever it is that
exactly.
you're doing. So yeah, plan it out. It's a trip. It's a fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
vacation. You're hanging out with your buddies. Come on.
Yeah, and if you're also looking at hotels, be aware that you'll be there a total of 2 nights at the very least, which is usually Friday night, Saturday night. So if you plan on being there, don't think that you're just gonna get one hotel room for one night and think that you're good. It's usually a 2 day event, which means 3 nights that you're there.
Yeah,
And
and we're making it today too. So we're there
yeah,
for
and
two.
some people might want about to say might want to extend that because if you're there that extra night, like if you have to play through Top Cut or all the way into the championship or whatever like that, you're there all day, which means you now have to stay another night unless you like night driving or driving with fatigue. Because at the end of Sunday, you are definitely going to feel it. Everyone who is still playing left is drained mentally, physically, emotionally. They're exhausted. They're tired of being there. They don't want to hear the words Yu-Gi-Oh at all after the day. You know what I'm saying? But I just suggest maybe staying with friends, regardless of the route you decide to take. But just make sure that your odds are all able to split it up multiple ways so you're able to save as much as you can to ensure that you are on top of your own budget. Definitely be sure that you guys are staying on top of your budgets, especially when you guys are out of town. I can tell you right now, you don't want to go broke or don't go bankrupt. Going to these trips or YCSs, Orlando was a little bit too much for me to financially break off. I eventually got through it, one way or another, but it was still a lot, and I probably shouldn't have went. But I definitely am glad I went to go make those memories and have that fun time. But I definitely was aware of how much of a financial burden it was going to be beforehand. So I don't want people to just kind of think that, oh yeah, this is gonna be nothing. I'll just go buy a hotel room for like $90. I'll go rent a car for like 50, $60 a day, and it'll be fine. I'll spend like $300 and get there. No, it's not like that. You definitely want to make sure that you're on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you like prefer to do? Go get your own hotel room? Do you like spreading up with buddies? Would you rather go save money and just go crash with family, or like how you're
I
doing?
mean,
Or
like like you and I, we have our play groups. It's always a blast bringing out along the homies. So personally, I'm a big fan of just getting the hotel, splitting it up, play testing all night, even though we should be sleeping, and then just yeah, that's fun. I like to divvy up, and make those memories. I think the most fun part about these is just hanging out with the friends. I'm going solo this time, but I got everybody else over there waiting for me, but I prefer divvying it up if the
yeah,
opportunity comes up.
I agree. There's times where I'll even like for Orlando, we went earlier, so like
Mm.
we went a week early, and a bunch of us just did Disney for 3 days. just to have some fun. We were just did Orlando walkarounds and stuff like that. As you
Hmm.
said, just to kind of get our mind off things, unwind. You're with friends. You want to make the memories. Like although we're there for a competition, you're also there just to enjoy the time you have. You know what I'm saying with the people you're with. So
Hmm.
I agree with that
Yeah.
as well. And then
Yeah.
another thing that duelists probably don't account for all the time, which definitely gets me a lot of the time, is food.
Mm.
Keeping in mind that 3 days worth of food is no small feat, especially if you're like a person who likes to eat out or doesn't like home cooked meals or whatever. A realistic food budget will help you decide between whether you're eating out at like high end restaurants or maybe like the cafe that's attached to the hotel or something like that. Whether you're going out to have drinks at the end of the night with like at a bar or like explore food venues, or maybe you're going to like the local food mart and just grabbing some bread, cheese, and deli meat, and you making sandwiches all week. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It doesn't matter. Either one is fine. We don't judge over here. I hope that no one else judges. Everyone's financial situation is theirs, but just make sure that you account for it. If you're gonna go for and you know you're just gonna have enough money to get there with the hotels and like the driving and the Ubering and all that stuff, definitely be sure that you're packing foods for like the budget. Like right now in our group chat, earlier today we were going on about like how we're gonna have food. My wife is gonna be there, so she'll be able to cook for like the morning and the night. But for the day, we're probably just gonna have to pack some sandwiches, bring them with us. If anyone is low on funds, they can just go grab one out the cooler or some shit. Um, but it's just we want it all accounted for. We wanted it for whoever. If you got a budget, we got you hooked up. If you got your own money, you want to go do your own thing, you're more than welcome. Go do it. You're hooked up to go do that. But just make sure that it know that there's going to be food, and it's not always like you can always go to the event center and get it yourself because it's also costly there as well. Like Orlando, for example, there was three vendors. There was a Chinese food spot, there was a Papa John's, and then there was like a burger and hot dog spot. And the burgers were $13, the hot dogs were 10. A plate of Chinese food was $24, and the
Mhm.
pizza itself, a small personal pan pizza, like maybe like this big, was like 15. So like it's expensive, and that's not including any of the drinks because all the drinks down there are all $4 a pop. Like it does rack up, and I maybe you're saying, "Hell, $4 ain't nothing," but $4 when you're eating, and then $4 when round three gets done, and then another $4 after round seven, and then now your friends all want to go grab something from down the way, and now like that's another X amount of it does rack up and add up. So
And
just make sure
one
you're budgeting for it.
one thing I do want to add, and spoiler alert, I don't know if you've been to the Rhode Island Convention Center before. Have you?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so the mall is right next to it. There is plenty of things to eat in there. So I mean, at least for this one, we're good. And if you
Yeah,
need have any questions,
account for it.
that's my stomping ground. You let me know.
Yeah, but I mean, like my thing is like just make sure that if you know you're already cutting it close, pack some sandwiches, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't let
Also,
pride be the reason why you're going into debt. You know?
if you can't eat, I would suggest you put your priority on something like, make sure you're eating. You eat well.
Yeah,
That's you don't want to be playing and then be worrying about, oh man, I can't eat anything or.
yeah. You want your mind focused on the
Yeah.
game and
Yeah.
in no way, shape, or form distracted. So that's exactly how you're saying it. You want to make sure
Yeah.
that you keep it up. And then one of the last things, at least for me, to bear in mind at these events that you might not take into account are just souvenirs and like memorabilia. Maybe going to these new places and new faces and stuff, doing fun things with new people. It just leaves you wanting to capture the moment, maybe not only with your camera, but just like take something home to kind of like capture the essence of what was going on. Certain things might make you want to bring them back home, the relish and the memories that you just made, or maybe there were other cards or venues and stuff that you needed for other decks that the vendors had at the tournament that you might want to purchase or something like that. Maybe there's a plushie that your significant other might enjoy at the event center. One of the vendors got them up there. You know what I'm saying? You never quite know, uh, but you just want to make sure that you have it ready in the back of your mind to plan for your financial for the trip. There's going to be things you're going to need. You're going to want to travel. You're going to want to stay somewhere. You're going to want to eat. You're going to make sure that you have your cards and everything you're going to want for the tournament. And then the very last thing is anything you're going to be bringing home. Any plushies, any cards, any mats, any banners, any giant cards, any prize support, any of that stuff that you're putting money out, that you're physically bringing your wallet out to pay for, account for it. Make sure that you know that it's going to
Mhm.
be there. I wish I had this advice going to one of my bigger events, or at least I had it sat down, broken up to me really like that. Because going to these events just blindly, you'll sink yourself into a pit over Yu-Gi-Oh that you just really didn't necessarily need to be.
Right.
But is there anything else that you have before closing out that you wish you knew before going to your first YCS or anything?
I think we're all there to win for sure, but at the end of the day, the experience is what really makes it
Yes.
for me. So just plan it out, give it a little more thought. As I said, we're there to win, obviously, and we're deck building and whatnot, but enjoy it, live in the moment.
I agree. I
That's
agree. That's definitely what you should be. I just want you guys at least aware, because knowing is half the battle, guys. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that you guys know what you're getting into before you go and getting into it, before you guys wind up in Rhode Island with no way home or no food or nothing like that. Just because I want the best for everyone, and I want to make sure that you guys are bringing your best. So that way, when I whoop all your asses out there, I don't want any excuses. You guys be like, you know what? Oh, well, I was hungry. No, you weren't. I gave you a sandwich. You were just bad. So let that be known. Well,
yeah.
we are starting to run out of life points for today's episode. I didn't mean for it to go this long for you guys. I do enjoy talking with Joseph. We haven't caught up in a while, so this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that it kind of went over a little bit. But just as usual, the sponsored content above. Check out the Linktree link in the description box below. Follow all the sites. Go to Unplug Gaming. They wanted you to join their Discord server and be a part of all their TCG communities. Be sure to go to energydrinkcity.com or www.energydrinkcity.com and go all of your energy drink needs, any of your liquid courage or whatever the hell you guys need to get your day started. Use Player X code for a 10% discount upon your order, and you guys will be all good. So they'll be sure to take it up, hook you guys up, send everything you need straight to your front door. And last but not least, you won't catch him this Saturday because we'll be at the YCS, but every other Saturday night, you will catch Brad live every Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, also on our Twitch as well. Before we go, I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to Joe for coming on. Is there any last thoughts on the podcast episode or the YCS? Anything you want to say before we close out today?
Um, yes, X. I'll do the winning interview once I get first place. Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to delete that after we record it too. So, also be in mind that if you are going to Rhode Island and you're watching this, we are going to record content down there. We're going to be giving away a whole bunch of OTS packs. What do I have in here? I literally have the whole handful here. We got we got literally piles and piles and piles and piles and piles and handfuls of OTS packs that we're going to be bringing and giving away. We're going to be bringing merch, mats, a whole bunch of things up there, doing pack battles with Mr. Perfect. So we're going to be doing local legend segments and getting weird, wonky deck profiles and just a whole bunch of just information for you guys. So it's going to be a fun time. If you do see us up there, feel free to come up and say hi. Come get yourself some free stuff. We'll be making fun of Joe, so if you see someone crying, it's usually going to be Joe. We'll all be pointing and laughing at him. With that being said, guys, we are all out of life points. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Semi-Limited Podcast, the best podcast this side of the TCG. With that being said, thank you to Joe for coming out and having a blast. Go check out their podcast, Heart of the Podcast, on all platforms, on YouTube.
Part of the podcast.
Heart of the Podcast, that's right. You can catch Joe, Mel, Nick, and Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
All out there going and doing their own thing. It's definitely something to hear. It's interesting to say the least. But with that being said, guys, we're all out of life points. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next week when we get back from YCS Rhode Island.